welcome back. We are on our next episode of Journey into the Unknown. I, of course, am your host, Emerald Raven, and today we are talking about the Chupacabra. Now, for those of you who don't know, that is Spanish for goat sucker, and there is a very good reason why. Without further ado, let's jump right into the research. The Chupacabra does not enter folklore as a relic of ancient myth or a figure passed down through centuries of oral tradition. It arrives suddenly, violently, and unmistakably modern. Its story begins not in the distant past, but in the late 20th century, in a world of electricity, media, and a rising distrust of institutions. That timing is not incidental. The Chupacabra is a creature born into anxiety. The earliest, most wildly recognized reports emerge in Puerto Rico in the mid-1990s. Farmers began waking to find their animals dead in their pens. Goats, chickens, sheep, and rabbits were all discovered drained of blood, their bodies left intact, with no sign of struggle. The wounds were precise, often described as small punctures to the neck or chest. There was no evidence of predation in the traditional sense. No torn flesh, no consumption, just death. That detail alone set the Chupacabra apart. Predators eat, scavengers tear. Disease spreads messily. But this was different. This was surgical. Whatever was killing these animals didn't behave like anything people recognized. As reports spread, description followed, and they did not agree with one another in comfortable ways. Some witnesses described a small reptilian creature standing upright on two legs with spines running down its back and large dark eyes that reflect light unnaturally. Others described a hairless canine-like animal with elongated limbs, leathery skin, and a gaunt skeletal appearance. Still others insisted it looked almost alien, as though it didn't belong to the ecosystem at all. The inconsistency did not weaken belief, it actually strengthened it. The Chupacabra was not being pinned down, and that made it feel dangerous. It was as though the creature adapted to its environment, or perhaps the expectations of those who encountered it. In rural areas, it looked animalistic. In places closer to urban influence, it took on stranger, more otherworldly traits. What united these descriptions was behavior. The Chupacabra didn't attack people, it targeted livestock. It appeared under cover of darkness. It left behind bodies that defied explanation and vanished without trace. For communities dependent on animals for survival, this was not a curiosity, it was a threat. Livestock loss meant financial instability, hunger, and fear. Farmers began guarding their animals at night, installing lights, building higher fences, and sleeping with weapons nearby. Still, the killing continued. The escalation transformed the Chupacabra from rumor into obsession. Eyewitnesses described seeing the creature leap extraordinary distances, clearing fences with ease. Some claim it moved with an unnatural gait, hopping rather than running. Others report hearing high-pitched screeches and hissing sounds before discovering dead animals the next morning. The emotional impact of these encounters cannot be overstated. People were not just afraid of losing animals, they were afraid of the unknown. Afraid that something was operating beyond their understanding, beyond their control, and beyond the reach of explanation. Media coverage amplified that fear. Television programs, newspapers, and radio broadcasts spread the story rapidly, often without verification. Sketches of the creature circulated widely, reinforcing certain visual ideas and influencing future reports. As the image spread, so did the phenomenon. Soon, sightings were reported outside Puerto Rico, in Mexico, Central America, South America, the southern United States. Each new region added its own details, its own variations, its own cultural lenses. In Mexico, the chupacabra took on a more canine form, often blamed for livestock deaths in rural areas. In Texas, reports described a hairless, mangy animal that looked like coyotes or dogs suffering from a severe disease. In South America, some accounts lean back toward the reptilian description of the creature with the spine and glowing eyes. The geographic drift is crucial to understanding the chupacabra. Unlike older myths tied to specific landscapes or cultures, this creature migrates through media, not memory. It spreads through headlines, not hearths. Skeptics quickly offer explanations. Many livestock deaths, they argue, could be attributed to known predators like dogs, coyotes, foxes, or other feral animals. Blood loss, they pointed out, is often exaggerated in reports, as internal bleeding and post-mortem changes can create the illusion of draining. Hairless animals, they noted, could be explained by mange, a parasitic condition that causes fur loss, skin to thicken, and emaciation. I don't know where I came with that. From a specific standpoint, these explanations are reasonable, but they don't account for everything. Farmers with generations of experience insisted they knew what predator kills looked like. They knew the difference between scavenging and slaughter. They knew when something didn't fit, and the chupacabra didn't fit. There were also reports of puncture wounds that appeared too symmetrical to be accidental. Reports often said animals killed in enclosed spaces with no signs of forced entry. Reports tracks that did not match any known species. Each piece of evidence on its own could not be dismissed. Each on its own could be dismissed, but together they formed a pattern which refused to settle. The chupacabra became a symbol of intrusion. Something was entering human-controlled spaces, violating it without permissions. Pens, coops, barns, places meant to be safe no longer were. This violation is central to the creature's power. Unlike cryptids that dwell in remote forests or mountains, the chupacabra comes right to your doorstep. It crosses fences, it enters properties, it leaves evidence behind, and then disappears. That behavior feels personal. In many ways, the chupacabra reflects a growing sense of vulnerability in the modern world. The idea that technology and knowledge have tamed nature is deeply ingrained. The chupacabra challenges that assumption. It suggests that something unknown can still bypass the system, ignore boundaries, and exploit blind spots. There are also darker theories that emerge alongside the legend. Some believe the chupacabra was the result of secret experiments, genetic manipulation, military testing gone wrong, escaped laboratory creatures designed for purpose never meant to be public. These theories thrived in environments where trust in government and institution was already low. The chupacabra became a vessel for suspicion, a way to articulate fear that something dangerous was being hidden. Whether or not these theories hold merit is less important than why they resonate in the first place. The chupacabra did not just kill animals, it fed on uncertainty. As the years passed, the creature image began to shift again. The more alien descriptions faded, replaced by more animalistic ones. Captured specimens began to surface, often identified as diseased dogs or coyotes. DNA tests confirmed known species. And because of that, skeptics have declared the mystery solved. But the legend didn't die. People continue to report livestock deaths that don't match predatory patterns. They continue to describe encounters that felt wrong. They continue to insist that something was happening beyond misidentification. This persistence is the key to understanding the chupacabra's place in modern mythology. It's not sustained by proof, it's sustained by experience, by the gap between explanation and certainty. It thrives where trust erodes, where institutions fail to convince, where people feel dismissed rather than heard. When someone loses animals and is told they are mistaken, that dismissal fuels their belief more than reassurance ever could. In this sense, the chupacabra is less about what is killing livestock and more about how people respond to being told that their reality is wrong. There are no traditional rituals to ward off chupacabra, no ancient charms, no sacred boundaries. People respond with practical measures, strong fences, lights, weapons, vigilance, and still the fear lingers. Because the fear is not of attack, it's of exposure. The chupacabra exposes how thin the line is between control and chaos, and how quickly the familiar can become threatening, and how easily the unknown can slip into the places we thought were secure. So what are my final thoughts on this creature? This is one of the few times you're going to hear me give a definitive yes. I truly believe this creature exists. There are too many reports, there are too many incidences with this creature, and nothing makes me believe in something quicker than it being completely dismissed. Also, I would like to point out that, there are multiple descriptions of this creature. Now, that doesn't mean that they are necessarily the same creature, but I think that this is going to be one of those times where we learn that just like every other species has breeds, every animal species has breeds, like birds, dogs, they all have their own breeds. Perhaps the chupacabra has breeds. Some of them are these mangy dog-looking creatures. Some of them are the more alien-looking things. Or perhaps, and this is the thing that's going to make you look at your phone and think I've lost my mind. Perhaps they are neither. Perhaps what we are looking at, and this is going to come back up at the end of this series, perhaps what we are looking at is a shapeshifter. You'll understand more about that if you stick around until the very last episode of this entire series. That's all I got for you guys on Chupacabra. I am going to bring my research and my opinion to a close. If you enjoyed this episode, please like it and share it with your friends, and also hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified of all future content. If you have had any run-ins with any cryptid creatures or mythical creatures of any kind, or anything paranormal that you would like me to read out here on the channel and give my opinion on, please send that to me at emeraldravenparanormal@gmail.com, and I will read it out here. I would also like to add that if you wish to remain anonymous, please put that in your email so I can read it anonymously. Once you've done all that, head on over to Facebook, where you can follow my page, Emerald Raven Mystic. That will allow you to see where I'm going to be, what I'm doing, any new products I have, and also get my new thing that I've been doing the last few weeks, where I do a daily inspirational post. So you're not going to want to miss any of that. I can be found most Saturdays at Rhodes Marketplace in Sandusky, Ohio, about 6 minutes from Cedar Point. While you're on Facebook, go ahead and give that store a follow as well. That is Rhodes Marketplace. All of the names that I've said will be in the description. I will tell you that twice a month at Rhodes we are doing ghost hunts, so you're not going to want to miss that. It is insanely haunted and it is really cool. That's really all I have for you guys today, so I'll see you back here next week. Until then, be safe, and remember, never be afraid to spread your wings and soar into the unknown.